Breaking news in Brindleton Bay! Wild animals still roam the streets after a freak accident involving a series of mysterious cargo ships. Although the Simstonian Zoo sent their best wildlife advocate, Kayla Silverwood, to help, she has been unable to rally the local townsfolk to her cause. What will these poor wild animals do, left to roam the streets and forest of Brindleton Bay? While some of the antelope will no doubt adjust, what about the desert-loving finnick foxes or the bamboo-craving red pandas? Thankfully, help is on the horizon, with the arrival of Eliza Thornberry, daughter of the world-famous wildlife documentary producers Nigel and Marianne Thornberry. After being raised traveling the world with her wildlife-loving parents, Eliza is surely well-suited for the job of helping establish a wildlife rescue in Brindleton Bay. Why, she is so talented at interacting with animals that rumors say it's almost like she can speak directly to the animals themselves. But will Eliza be able to establish her adult life and carry on the Thornberry name through this fantastic challenge? And what about the rumors of a mysterious mission that her father has for her in the faraway land of Salvadora? And who is the adorable lemur companion at her side? All this and more as we return to the Sims 4 Wildlife Rescue Challenge, Thornberry Legacy. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Sims 4 Wildlife Rescue, where we have just been joined by an expert in wildlife rescue and management and basically wildlife and biology world-round, Eliza Thornberry. Oh my goodness, I am so excited to finally show her off to you guys. I have no idea what I actually think of her final form, and of course she is being shy and has turned around. Eliza, please, will you turn around? What are you doing? Eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You're leaving Nora outside, Eliza. We just literally started. Look at this poor lemur. This poor lemur is like, excuse you? Hello? Yes, we've literally just started, and you have already locked me outside on the spot where I have left my muddy paws all over the camper van. Look at this. Oh, I'm so in love with this. Oh my goodness. But yes, welcome back, guys. Even though Eliza is playing shy and has already dove into her little RV, we are back, believe it or not, with the wildlife rescue. I had not given up on it, except I kind of had, because actually earning money from the ground up is really a lot harder in The Sims 4 than I was anticipating, and I wasn't quite sure exactly what I wanted my end goal to be with the wildlife rescue. But after giving it a lot of thought and having the epiphany that I really wanted to see a childhood hero return in The Sims 4 and help us with our wildlife rescue adventures, well guys, I know where we're going from here, and I am so excited to share the journey with you and share the journey with our brand new Sim, Eliza Thornberry, who is based off of Eliza in the Wild Thornberries. And if you guys never had the chance to grow up with that amazing show, I hope you will have the opportunity to go and watch some episodes sometime, because Eliza was the daughter of a world-renowned traveler, a wildlife video maker, basically, kind of like Steve Irwin, Jeff Corwin, Sir David Attenborough, some of my personal heroes. But it was a Nickelodeon TV show where she was a young girl who lived with her two parents. Her mom was the filmmaker, her dad was the host of the Wild Thornberries little nature show, and they traveled the world, and Eliza had the ability to speak to animals, and she had a chimpanzee pet brother basically named Darwin, a younger brother named Donnie, and an older sister, and they traveled the world, went on all sorts of adventures, met with all sorts of animals, got to talk to all sorts of animals. And when I realized this wildlife rescue challenge needed some professional help, I knew we needed to turn to this woman right here, right here. And I'm happy with how she turned out, but it's really hard to get the wild thornberries style made in The Sims 4 other than Nigel's nose, which thankfully Eliza did not inherit. So if you happen to have a thornberry to show off, do please share it on the gallery. I would love to see. But this is my version of Eliza Thornberry, and she is going to be our new leading host of the Wildlife Rescue Challenge. And we are going to be adding in some exciting twist. I am so excited, especially Eliza, because we're about to have jungle rescue. Oh my goodness. Well, there's a whole new series we could do. We're about to have jungle adventures come out, and who better to go and adventure in the jungle with than a woman who can talk to animals and wants to run her own nature show. So that is what Eliza's goal is. She wants to follow in her father's footsteps and become the second most famous natural wildlife TV host, basically. But it's the modern era, so she is not going to be a TV host. She is actually going to be in the social media career, which is going to be hopefully pretty helpful. She is a media intern. She's going to be an internet personality. So basically, we're going to be making Eliza her own YouTube account, her own YouTube page, basically, in the Sims world to come in and to help the wildlife rescue. And yes, we do still have Kalia. She is over trying to campaign for the rights of the animals and to get the zoo established. And we will still be working with her. So yeah, we have not given up on Kayla. She's going to be coming back, and she is going to be so happy to find Eliza here waiting for her, ready to help. As you can see, Eliza pulled her camper van up, parked the RV right in the yard of where this poor woman, Miss Silverwood, Kayla Silverwood, has been working so hard to try to make something happen here, to be able to go out into the world and find all of those zebras. And in fact, what is this? There's the snow leopard. She has been working so hard to try to get enough money to be able to rescue that snow leopard, give it a safe habitat to be able to come into, possibly return it to the wild, put it at a reserve, give it over to a zoo that can take care of it until something can happen to this poor creature. And look at us, we have 2 Similonians, just 2. So yeah, Kayla was not having a good time of life, and I realized she needed help. So the word got out that the animals in Brindleton Bay were still roaming loose and wild, and the populace was beginning to grow quite aggressive towards them. So unbeknownst to Kayla, Eliza pulled her RV up, and she has finally spread her wings. She has left the safety of her parents, Nigel Thornberry being like the most popular animal wildlife video maker, well, host at least. His wife is the maker. In the world, but she has left the safety of her parents. She has finished college, and she is ready to make her own way in the world and become an internet celebrity based around rescuing animals, educating people about animals. And what better way to begin her adventures than by coming here and helping out to establish the founding steps of a wildlife rescue. So that is why she is here. She is going to help out with all of these animals that are roaming in the world. In fact, we have more over here. Oh my goodness, there's the rabbit. Oh, see, look at these poor things. They are dirty. They need a new home. They need some help. And Eliza is going to try to help bring in the funds because she knows how this works. She's been around this block a time or two, and she's going to try to use her job and her skills, which are currently non-existent but will build up, to actually help. Here, let's actually start her working on creating a social media profile. But she is going to help this wildlife rescue get off the ground as part of her big adventures for her life and her goals, which is going to be a lot of fun, I think. Here, let's back up a little bit. That's so cute. So basically, this is how it's going to work. Apologies if I kind of talk for just a moment because I need to explain what's going on. But Eliza has come in. She is going to be a partner to Kayla, and she is going to help out trying to get money here. So that's really our biggest problem, is we don't have enough money to be able to start setting up habitats, and we have to have the habitat set up with food, water, shelter, the basic needs that the animal needs to have met before we can try to take the animal in. That's just like our rule for this challenge. cage. And so far, Kayla has been having a terrible time of that because it's just been so ridiculously hard to get any money for her and also take care of her needs. The woman has been living in a bush. She has gone up in the world a little tiny bit since you guys last saw her. And by a little tiny bit, I mean she has this itty bitty little shack that she has gotten built that I'm actually in love with because it looks like everything color scheme wise that I would love to have for a zoo of my own. So she has got this little shack built. She still sleeps in an easy camper tent. She still eats from the Rocks on Fire campfire, but she has a trash can, she has a mailbox, and technically she could even have a roof over her head. This even has a shower in it now. So she has a shower tarp. Even if she doesn't have a toilet, she still has to use the bush outside and fertilize it. She doesn't have a sink yet. We're working on that. So she's been quite, no, I was going to say proud, but actually Kayla has been exceptionally, we'll go ahead and bring her here. She's feeling kind of confident, but mostly she's just super depressed because she hasn't been able to really make headway. She's beginning to doubt if she is even meant to be a wildlife rescuer, if she's even meant to run this rescue or help to bring the animals in. And she's even been thinking of turning in her khaki and just wearing her city clothes and maybe giving herself over to working some sort of political campaign or working a secular job. And if she can't convince people to care about the animals, why bother? Hopefully the arrival of Eliza will change all of that, because Eliza will be able to bring in more money, and these two will be able to start building up the animal rescue. And I'm going to level with you guys. The other reason we haven't been having these amazing animal rescue episodes is because I realized, what do I do with the animals? Why am I collecting the animals? Why am I rescuing the animals? How long would I keep each animal in our family? What do we do with them? And finally, I have the answers. What our goal is going to be is to shift our attention over to Eliza and follow her on her adventures. And she is going to travel all over the world as she researches different animals. We'll send her to tons of different venues that will be based off of ancient ruins, museums, all sorts of really fun locations that have to do with forest or animals or dig sites. She's going to travel the whole world and see quite a bit as she pursues her job of trying to become an internet celebrity and bringing to life the world that the Sims live in and all of the natural wonders within. While she makes all of that money, a lot of that money is going to be funneled back into two places, one of which is going to be the wildlife rescue that Kayla will continue to run. We will build different exhibits for each of the animals that we rescue, and we will take care of those animals until Eliza finishes writing books about them. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to say Eliza does research, intense, deep research on each of the animals that we could possibly find roaming wild in the world, like that snow leopard that's taking a nap right there. And once we adopt it into the family, after we have built it a nice little habitat, then we will put it in its exhibit and we will do research on it. And Eliza will write a book. So that's the other way that she is going to earn a ton of money, is by writing books, because you can make a lot of money having a sim write books. However, we're only going to allow her to write and finish a book if we have an animal. So that's going to be kind of like our handicap there. We're not going to let her just write books nonstop to make tons of money. We have to have rescued an animal, and it has to be on our lot with us here at the Animal Rescue for Eliza to be allowed to write a book about it. So that's our rule. If we want her to be able to write a book so she can generate that income for herself and for the wildlife rescue, we have to already have the animal in our possession. So that's kind of one of our rules. And then after she finishes writing a book about the animal, we can actually release that animal to a wildlife park. And we're going to be building a ton of wildlife parks. And what we'll do is then we will invite in a new sim. Kayla will recruit somebody new. and they will move into the wildlife park, and we will use the room function that the Sims 4 has to actually save the habitat we have built, say for the snow leopard, and save it as a room. And that's really fun. If you guys have never used the rooms in the Sims 4, they're super useful. And then we will take that room and we will make a whole new like wildlife sanctuary area or a zoo, depending on where we want to put the animal. And we will put that room on a new lot, and we will remove it from the current lot. This is supposed to be a rescue. The animals come in and then they go out. And our goal is to send them to a new lot that will designate like as a wildlife reserve, or maybe as a zoo, or if we end up with some sort of zebra snow leopard hybrids, possibly as a research center, depending, like a mad scientist research center if we accidentally end up with hybrids, which could happen. So yes, we'll send them to different locations, and that'll kind of be our goal. I realized even once we rescue the snow leopard, it's still going to be walking around in the world. As long as we're playing with this family, they'll be in one spot. But once we send it to like a zoo or a sanctuary or something, it'll be wandering around the way people's pets do. So it would be really weird, but we'll put collars on them then and say that they're like ambassador animals or something. So I know that seems kind of funky, but that was why I sort of struggled, because I realized what happens when we max out the number of animals we can have here, and we wouldn't be able to adopt any more. And there would still be wild animals roaming free. Well, now we're going to keep the animal long enough to write a book about them, make sure that they are healthy and happy, and then we are going to have Kayla have befriended somebody else, and we're going to send them to a wildlife reserve. We're going to send them to a research center, especially if they happen to be hybrids. We might even build the laboratory from my Sims 4 Random Genetics Challenge, or we might send them to a zoo that we could build for our Sims to walk around and really learn from, and that would be really fun. And all of those other locations are going to have to be built with the funds that these two ladies bring in through whatever adventures they get up to. Now here's a little twist. Eliza may not stay in the same household as Kayla forever, and Eliza especially is going to go with this little RV that she has, which is so cute, and I absolutely love it. It's adorable. It's a little mobile camper I downloaded off the gallery that I have heavily modified, but she is going to take this little camper and she is going to travel a lot on her own. And what we'll do is we will get the money that she makes and we will have her give a ton of it to Kayla to continue running the wildlife rescue pretty often. So that's going to be really interesting. She'll kind of come back in and she'll leave pretty often. We'll have Eliza sort of pop in, pop out, but we'll be following Eliza from now on. And when she decides to drive her little RV back over here and visit with the wild animals, that's when we'll be here. So it's going to be really interesting because we're going to be a lot more mobile. She's basically kind of a nomadic sim who will travel all over the place in search of new animals and all over the place in search of trying to just discover things about the world. And that's where the second thing that Eliza is going to do, the big thing Eliza is going to do that will be one of her huge legacies. She is going to build the ultimate museum. The ultimate museum! Dun, 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 dun! And hang on, I know I'm talking a lot, but this is a really important setup episode for basically some of the most amazing adventures we're ever going to have. Because Eliza has been tasked with something very special by her father, Nigel. He has asked her to do her best to build the Thornberry Museum. And the Thornberry Museum, she actually has a deed for, but she hasn't been able to see it yet because it happens to be in Salvador. And there's currently no way for her to get to Salvador. Travel is still closed down, but her father has left her a deed to a small museum that he wants to see built up into a world museum of wonders. And he has put that task on Eliza's shoulders. So not only to become a great champion for wildlife and write tons of books about the various animals that we rescue, help build up a zoo, help build up wildlife sanctuaries or mad scientist research laboratories, which would be very ethical to the animals, mind you, but to also build and leave a legacy of the Thornberry Museum that would hold each and every one of the possible things that you can collect in The Sims 4. So that's our big goal with Eliza, is to build, other than like some of the things like the My Sims trophies we may not do, that would be in the modern art section perhaps. But yeah, that's one of the biggest goals that we are going to have with Eliza, is to basically build a gigantic museum that is going to hold all of the more nature-related collections you can possibly have. And that may be a goal that will actually possibly outlive Eliza. But I love it because I have never had a sim who has tried to follow the curator ability, who has tried to collect absolutely everything out there in the world. And the collections in The Sims 4 are one of my favorite things, and so are the animals. So between all of that, I think we're going to have a great time. And Eliza is going to be able to help Kayla to bring the wildlife rescue back up on its feet, and we are going to set forward and take her into the jungle and send Eliza to adventure again and again and again in the jungle to find relics that we can put into the Thornberry Museum, and to find relics that we might be able to sell so that we can hopefully make some money, so that we can hopefully take care of the animals here. And basically, I think it would be absolutely amazing. So I'm looking forward to this. This is the fresh help, the new twist that we really needed with our wildlife rescue challenge in order to bring it back to life. So that's our goal, my friends. I'm very, very much looking forward to it. And I'm thinking we might even have some Green Family Legacy crossovers here and there that I'm kind of toying with in the back of my mind. But it's a lot to tackle. And at the same time, I think it finally gives us direction for what to do with all of the exotic animals that you guys are still making and uploading to the gallery by the dozens, which is making me so excited to add them into our world. And now we can say, oh, that's a different species of lemur. So we can go ahead and adopt it, and Eliza can write a new book about it, and then we'll send it to one of the many parks that we can have. It may get to the point where we eventually, because there's not enough lots, have to start putting the parks up in the galleries and re-downloading them when we want to visit them. But I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a huge, epic journey, collecting tons of things, and it's going to be with one of my absolute childhood heroes, who I love so much, building up a career. I have never done the social media career properly before, so it's going to be really fun to do that with her. It's going to be really fun to give her the skills that she's going to need to explore Salvadora, and it's going to be fantastic to see what she gets up to with her new companion. Oh my gosh, Nora, what are you doing way over here already? Nora, oh my goodness. So Nora, her lemur, who has just been sprayed by a skunk. Lucky us. So this is going to be her new companion. Since Darwin is no longer with Eliza, we now have Nora instead. And Nora is going to be her best friend. And keep in mind, like I said, yeah, Eliza's special ability in the wild thornberries is that she can talk to animals. And we're definitely going to be having a lot of fun playing with that. So, all right, yeah, that kind of sets everything up. I'm sorry, it was definitely a setup talky episode today, but I think it's very important because there's so many new goals. I'll try to kind of write them all up. I'm working on building up a website and a blog and a wiki so that everything will be like a little bit more easy to understand and laid out. And I'll try to put a comment today and that I'll pin to explain the changes to the wildlife rescue. But we actually have a functioning rescue now, because at first I was like, well, once we adopt enough animals to like fill the rescue, what do I do? And now we have some goals. We make a new area to send them, and we write a book about them so we can say we rescued them, we researched them, we took care of them, and we sent them onward. And I'm looking forward to doing that. And I'm really looking forward to having a little bit more of a family story too, by watching Eliza really become a sim about the world, watching her grow up and kind of have that legacy to follow as well. So it'll be a lot more of a personal touch than kind of the very impersonal business tone that Kayla sort of brought to the challenge herself. So I'm really looking forward to that. Very happy with Kayla's adorable new little cabin. I hope you guys like it. And I love Eliza's camper. This will be the camper that she travels all over the world in. It will be the thing that she plops down whenever we drive to a new lot and she does some research on it, which will be really fun. I'll give you guys a brief little tour of the camper before we go. Again, let me see if I can find the original creator because I'm really happy with it and it's just so adorable. Oh my gosh, there's some white ruffed lemurs! Oh my gosh, Caltron made a black and white ruffed lemur. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys are about to have a wildlife safari video pop up pretty soon. I need to do some deep breaths. Caltron, I saw that. I will totally look at it. But all right, this is the camper that I downloaded, the mobile camper from Amy313/@ which I absolutely love, which I think I forgot to mention. I absolutely love this. I'm going to turn it into an adventure. Whoops. An adventure camper for jungle adventures. There we go. But that is the camper that I downloaded, and I tweaked quite a bit so that now it has a little wildlife logo on the side, because Eliza is trying to become an internet celebrity, which is the modern day equivalent of what her father Nigel did, if you ask me. And if we have some Wild Thornberry fans in the comments, please say something, because I would feel so happy. I felt so alone being like the only one at school who loved that growing up. So it would mean a ton to see like the pixel biologist also loved it with me. That would be so cool. I gotta watch it today. I have to watch the Wild Thornberries today. I'm gonna find it somewhere, probably on Amazon. But yes, so Nora is our companion. She is the adorable little lemur to kind of replace the fact that Darwin the chimpanzee is no longer with us. I think that he's probably retired and busy eating bananas while laying on the beach somewhere with Nigel and Eliza's mother. So I think that's where they are. Nigel and Marianne, that was their names. And so they're retired and they have Darwin with them. I like the idea that Debbie, her older sister, is now a soccer mom of like 3 boys and lives kind of in the suburbs of the city. And her brother Donnie, believe it or not, in the canon of what the Wild Thornberry creators said, her brother Donnie is a rock star, which kind of, I sort of want to see him in the future. That would be really fun to see. But yeah, actually, the Wild Thornberries 10 years later or something like that, from the original Wild Thornberries creators, they actually said that Eliza does exactly this. She becomes the second most famous wildlife TV personality out there in the world. And we're going to have her actually do that ourselves, which I'm really looking forward to. But anyway, Nora's little muddy paw prints are down here at the entrance in front of the door. The big logo to let everybody know that this is for Eliza Thornberry, for like Thornberry Returns and whatever we're going to call it for her little SimStube, whatever, SimTube? I think it's like SimTube videos that she's going to make about wild animals, and the professional research papers we're going to write, or the books. I actually love the idea that Eliza's books that she's going to write will be the interviews that she does with the animals, because she does speak with the animals, and so that is going to give her a lot of material for great stories to write. So I feel like she's going to write each of her books after interviewing and working with the individual animals, which is just so much fun. But inside her little camper is just a bunch of eclectic collections of plants, because I think that she has kind of gathered specimens from all over the world during her travels. So she has some succulents over here, some little potted ferns over here, a little cactus over here. Of course, the first thing I would point out to you guys is the plants. She's got some hanging plants inside of her bedroom, where it's literally just like a air mattress that we'll probably have to upgrade at some point. She has an RV, sure, but it's not exactly like the fanciest thing in the world. We have a bed for Nora, her lemur, her pet lemur, who I imagine to be quite a sassy, spoiled creature who likes to talk to Eliza a lot about what kind of bananas she wants to eat for the day. We have a bookshelf that hopefully we will be able to fill up with a ton of Eliza's books. Over here we have some of Nora's food put up on top of the refrigerator. We've got an empty mason jar I hope to fill with some plants that Eliza can grow herself, keeping in mind we're trying to build all of the collections at her father's behest, and also because Eliza, being a world-traveling young woman, has learned you never know what you might need in your pockets for those kinds of adventures. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what she gets up to with the adventures. And by the way, guys, you need to have so many skills, everything from rocket science to logic to gardening to handiness skill to fitness skill. You need to have it all for the Salvadoria adventures. I'm not sure how many of you have seen the live stream, but the more skills you give your Sims before you send them on those jungle adventures, the better off you'll be. And there's 2 new adventures. Imagine when we can make her a little archaeologist. Oh, I'm so excited. This is gonna be awesome. Or get her into the herbalism skill. That'll be so cool too. Maybe we can send her to Granite Falls before Jungle Adventures comes out. Who am I kidding? She's gonna be so busy just here in Brindleton Bay trying to help provide room for the snow leopard. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be awesome. All right, and then she's got some cat and dog breed little pictures, a cute little poster of the cat saying don't give up, a very cheap computer, and a very cheap chair just to kind of help her do her new work that she's going to take on. Her dad may be confused because back in his day it was all about making film the old-fashioned way, but now it's about using her cell phone and her social media account in order to bring the wonders of the animal stories that the animals tell her to the world. So I'm really looking forward to remembering and playing with the idea that she can speak to the animals, which is why she threw out some bird seed to attract the birds to kind of hear the hints of what a little bird might tell her about where some of the wild animals currently are out in the world. I'm really looking forward to playing with that a lot too. And then she's got a couple awards, a little jar of treats for both herself and for Nora. I imagine they're raisins actually. Some official paperwork because she is a wildlife researcher past it all. And a little award for some of her help with rescuing animals in the past. So, and then we've got a little tiny bathroom right over here. And then we have like the back of the camper van over here. And there's actually a little mouse that lives inside of her bathroom that I would love for you guys to help me come up with a name for, because this little mouse is going to be one of her friends and may actually give her a lot of advice. And he's a well-traveled, world-traveling little mouse that goes with them. And he likes staying with Eliza even though she's kind of stinting on the little cheese bits or other bits of food that he gets to collect, because he gets to see the world and listen to Eliza explain what he's looking at. And he finds it quite interesting. He's a very well-traveled little guy. Kind of reminds me of Feifel from Feifel Goes West. But all right. That is what's up. That is the changes that we are going to be having to the wildlife rescue. I apologize that this was all a update and explanation video, but there was a lot to go through. I'm kind of shifting everything about it, and I am pumped. I am excited. We're going to tackle some of the things I have always wanted to do in The Sims 4, and now we have a clear goal of where we're going. And like I said, childhood hero. I get to play with her and make things happen, and that's just awesome. But all right, guys, I am very excited to share their adventures with you. Thanks for sitting through this. We will be actually playing and getting to things next time, and I will see you all then. Bye-bye.